Happy Friday, Flosstube. My name is Debbie, and this is my channel, Stitching in South Jersey. Welcome. Today is Friday, January the 10th, 2025. Here we go, 2025. To all of my commenters, people who liked, subscribed, thank you, thank you, thank you. This is my fourth Flosstube, and this will be my December stitching update. I'm gonna look down at my notes because I don't wanna waste your time, and so I organized everything. First, I would like to give a shout out, before I forget, to a Flosstube channel, C Zook Stitch, and I loved her whips. I don't know how I've missed her in the past. She did a whip parade, which we know is where we find all our new favorites. And I loved everything she did. She had a great variety. So I just wanted to give her a shout out. And I will be watching some more of her. So today's agenda, 7 whips from December. One may have bled over into January because somehow it got lost in 2024. I have a few past finishes, 2 past finishes, Christmas related. I have a recent start and finish. And I know at the end of last month's Flosstube, I asked for a vote of what I should start next. And I gave you 5 options maybe. Woodland Santa won by 1 vote. Kringles was second. A close second, literally 1 vote. But I feel like I'm starting to make some progress on some of the things I have, nearing page finishes, getting page finishes. So I feel like I should just carry on and try and reward myself with a start when I accomplish something on everything that I have. So I'm gonna hold off for now. If I look like I am very pale, it is not because I am. It is because my daughter bought me a ring light for Christmas, which I love. I'm gonna have to work on the settings a little. I actually am wearing makeup today. It does not look like that, but we're just gonna go with it because you don't care what my face looks like. You really only care what the stitching looks like. And I did test it, and it's pretty true. The fabrics are showing up pretty true, so we're gonna go with it, even though I look like I could use a good dose of sunshine, which I probably could. Here in South Jersey, right outside of Philadelphia, we have been averaging in the low to mid 20s. Today's a balmy 32. We had a little bit of snow. They always make way more out of it than we ever get. So everybody panics, and then we get an inch. 2 inches. Anyway, enough complaining about the weather, people. Can't do anything about them. So I was going to start with my whips, but I think I'm going to start with my finishes that you haven't seen, because I would very much like to get the Christmas finishes, especially I have one Christmas finish that does get put away. I showed you all the others. Somehow I missed this one last month. So let's get started. We're already 4 minutes in. This is going to be kind of fast. I know the Flosstube world is flooded right now with whip parades and updates, and we just came off of all of those Flossmasses and vlogs and daily this and daily that. And so I'm not going to take up too much of your time. So if you recall, I was thinking about making my daughter, who just bought her first house, a snow globe, cross-stitch snow globe, a cross-stitch in a snow globe, in an acrylic ball. I was going to use Vanna Pfeiffer's amazing tutorial. What ended up happening? So then I thought I couldn't get it done in time. It was a tiered tray. It was in the Christmas issue or the winter issue of Just Cross Stitch, just came out. And one of the designs was a tiered tray. There was a bonus chart. It was a mini tiered tray. not quite as many as I needed for the snow globe. Measured it, thought about it. 5 minutes into stitching it, I was like, oh no, this is going to be bigger. You guys encouraged me to do it. You're like, you have plenty of time to get it finished for Christmas. I did. I got it finished Christmas Eve, maybe. But anyway, so my daughter graciously allowed me to keep it here so that I could show it, but I had to come up with another finish. So with the help of Joey Forget About It, we came up with a plan. And he was instrumental in execution of this plan. Also in partially designing. I did buy some rickrack to go around it, and he turned his nose up at my choice of rickrack and found something else, which, hate to admit it, liked it better. So that's what I did. Anyway, here it is. This is the finish. This is supposed, so then I changed it to, it's going to be an ornament for your tree, Natalie. And she was like, does it have to be an ornament? It's kind of big. It's not wrong. It's not big, but it might be big-ish if for an ornament. I mean, I would still use it as an ornament, but anyway, here it is. So this was the bonus chart. Isn't that adorable? I think I need to make me one of these. Maybe I'll do the full one because that was beautiful as well. It was really fun to stitch, only minimal back stitch. So then I just backed it in this fabric, thinking she was not going to hang it on a wall, but was going to use it as an ornament. So either way. And then Joey Forget About It chose this, I don't know if you could see it, it's a little opalescent around the edges for the border. And I watched a lot of ornament finishing tutorials and then sort of glommed them all together and came up with this. But I thought, you know, not being a finisher, it's not really in my nature for the patience or the artistic ability. But I thought it came out pretty cute. So next time I see my daughter, she will get this back to put away till next year. But it was kind of fun. It was fun to stitch, and it was fun to finish once we had figured out our plan. Okay, next up, on the cover page of Just Cross Stitch magazine from a few years ago. I don't see now, it's glaring. My ring light is glaring right now. Hold on one second. Let's see if we can't turn this off for a minute. There we go. It's a little better. I also have windows in this room, so it's hard. So this was on the cover of Just Cross Stitch magazine a couple years ago, 2021, maybe 2022. If you go back and look, you'll see it because it was on the cover. And all I did was I bought mats in this size. I think it's like a 4x6 opening. And then this is a 5x7 frame. Just stuck it in there, did whatever needed to be done. And then I found these little stick-on poinsettias in Hobby Lobby just to finish it off. And I thought it came out pretty cute. Boy, was that a lot of blue and white. It is on, it's on some kind of blue opalescent. I'm going to say picture this plus, maybe. I'm not really sure. So that sky is not stitched. I can't see what you see, but you could kind of see the opalescent there. The sky is not stitched. The stitching starts at the sunset. I think it's a sunset. Could be a sunrise. Nah, it can't be a sunrise. It's got to be a sunset. So that's going to go away for the winter. Then, wasn't sure what to do with this, but kind of came up with a plan. This is from Shannon Christine's Snow Globe series. And I have them all. I believe there are 5 of them. And I don't know if she's calling this one the sleigh or the reindeer, because there's 2 with sleighs. This might be the reindeer. Isn't that adorable? This is on a picture of this plus long before I was keeping track. And it is opalescent. Won't make that mistake again. For somebody that does not like opalescent, boy, oh boy, have I spent a lot of time stitching on it. Anyway, look how cute that came out. So I didn't know what to do with this, because if I put it in a frame with the beads, a lot of beads, I felt like I was going to lose something with it. And then I didn't want to stitch any of the other ones on this fabric. But I've had a change of heart, because look at the size of this fabric. I could, for real, because some of them are upright. So this is horizontal. Some of them are vertical. Some of the other snow globes or jar globes that she designed. And I think I can fit 4 of them on here. So I may start another one once I get something else accomplished, because then I feel like 4 of them, or at least 3 of them, will be in the same fabric. So I like that idea. And then maybe I can put them together in a frame. I don't know. Haven't thought that far. But that I finished 2 years ago, maybe now 2 Christmases ago, and just didn't know what to do with it. So I did nothing with it. And while decorating for Christmas this year, I found it. And I thought, I could do something with that. Last but not least, and we've all seen these, Cottage of the Month. This is January and my finish. And as you all know, oh, you're really not going to see the back of this. Magnets on the back, magnets on the board. Every month, change it out, hangs in my office. Cottage garden, little house, not sure. Really gonna look that one up for you though the next time. And it's just stitched on. That was back when I was stitching. This is probably like 14 count lamb's wool, Ada. Just found a fabric that I liked. Try not to notice that it's not a perfect square, because it's not a perfect square. And that hangs in my office, and every month I change it. And I'm sure you've all seen that a million times. Okay, moving on. The first whip I worked on in December. And I'm going to tell you how many days. I started a spreadsheet because, boy, does that appeal to me. Data, data, data. Although I don't like the data on Pattern Keeper, so I don't know. I started a spreadsheet to keep track of how many days I give each whip in a year. Of course, I just started it, so now I'm keeping track for 2024. The main purpose of that is to see if I'm giving everything enough love to make it worth having as many whips as I do. Because even though I enjoy the process, and they'll get finished when they get finished, or they won't, and my children will, share the stash, should I no longer be here to finish them. I feel like if I'm finding that I'm only working on things 2 days, 3 days, in an entire 365-day year, I need to cut down on how many whips I have and get a little focused. Hence the reason for not starting Woodland Santa, even though you also graciously responded to my request to vote. So I apologize for that, but I'm feeling a little bit of finishitis, or at least this, by the end of 2025, I will have a good idea of how many days are comfortable for me to continue to have all the whips that I have. So I'm going to tell you that as we go. So first up, at the beginning of December, and these are in the order that I worked on them in December, not that it matters. This is Wine and Cheese by Cooler Design Studio. And as you know, I changed a lot of the colors. All of that yellow lime greeny stuff. It's lovely, but this is for my kitchen. and my kitchen is very olive greeny and deep red. So I changed the colors, which you'll see. So I stitched this on Picture This Plus 18 count Heartland. Started it February 22nd of 2022, and this got 13 total days in 2024, and I can completely live with that. That is a good amount of time. So you can see the color changes. Those are, the border are literally the colors on my kitchen wall. Look at that beautiful fabric. It's showing up pretty true, maybe a little lighter, but pretty true. And in here, these are the cards. Again, the grape cards, I call them. And they're very yellow. I'm obviously not stitching them in yellow, but I think I'm going to leave the space negative for now. And if I have to go in because it's too much negative space, then I will pick a color, probably very close to the color of the fabric. I'm going to try and let the fabric do the heavy lifting on that. This up here all is negative space, so there is negative space in this design. But I'm undecided. But for now, I'm leaving them. Can always, always go back. And that is not a page finish, even though I tried. And again, 13 days in 2024, can totally live with 13 days. That's pretty good. Okay. Next. Cooler Design Studio. What do you know? 'Twas the Night. I got this out of a magazine, but they do sell it. I've seen it. Either everything cross stitch, 1, 2, 3 stitch, somewhere I've seen it as a leaflet. I have a lot of Christmas stuff. I have to tell you, a little sad that Woodland Santa won, because boy, do we have a lot of Santas going on. But I love this. I love everything the Cooler Design does. This is significantly smaller than anything else I'm doing by Cooler Designs. This one is going to be, let me see, I stitched it on 18 count. This is only going to be 7 by 9. So that's way smaller. Did not take it completely out of the Q-snap, but this is it. And this is a couple of pages in. That's how far I've gotten. It's fun to stitch, a lot of half stitches. Did not like doing the face. Oh, yeah, right, he's missing his, see, back stitch makes a big difference. But it's fun to stitch. There's obviously wording in here. But this is it, left to right. That's it. So much, much smaller than everything else that I have from Cooler Design. Okay. Oh, and I started that. Did I tell you this? I don't even know. Forgive if I'm repeating. Stitched on 18 count Vintage Country Mocha, started 12/28/20, 8 days total in 2024. It's kind of like my limit though, right? Like I don't want to do less than a week in a whole year on a project. And when I give you these total days, that is not consecutive total days. I may have hit it twice in the year. And as I think I mentioned before, my Tiny Decisions app, probably completely due to operator error, was repeating picks. So the way I have it set up is once it comes up on the wheel, it does not come up again on the wheel until the wheel, everything has been touched on the wheel. Somewhere in the year that changed and I didn't notice it. So some things really got not a lot because I generally can hit them twice in a year and some So these totals for 2024 are usually twice in a year, but something went wrong. Probably operator error, but let's say technology. Okay, next we have talked about this one. A Summer Ball by Sandy Littlejohns and Deborah Lester. Boy, was this hard to find. Saw somebody do it, loved it. I want to say Kim Hollenbeck maybe was working on it. And I was like, I have to have that. Not so easy to find. This is stitched on 20 count Ivory Ada by Zweigart. I started it just this past November 12th, 2024, and it already got 5 days in 2024. And here it is. And I think as we discussed, I told you, I am changing pretty much every girl's dress. I mean, I'm sure they're appropriate for the time. They are not appropriate for me. I need a little more brightness. So I went to Michael's, stood in front of all of the floss, and it seems like every dress has 3 colors in it. So I picked 3 complementary colors. I know I've told you this, a light, a medium, a dark, and then I'll figure out how to make that work. I'm a long way from the girls. So here is the first lady right there. I am hovering in here. Let me show you. That was 5 days of stitching. So, long way to go, but a really fun stitch. I love it. I don't regret going crazy looking for it. I don't regret the brain power it's going to take to make this come alive the way it is in my head. I am cool with that. Okay, more Santas. So, ironically, the next 3 all came up in December on the Tiny Decisions wheel, but they were all holiday related. So I ripped this out of a magazine, so sorry it's in 2 pieces. This is Santas of Fable and Fantasy out of the Cross Stitch and Country Crafts magazine, November, December 1991. Love this. I feel like cross stitch has come a long way, and they generally don't break the photo into 2 pages. And literally the pattern, which I can't show you, is on the back of this one. And it's split, and not very well split, like kind of split in the middle of Santa 3. And I feel like the magazine people have come a long way from, let's make this like a logical cut, and let's keep the picture all on 1 page. But November, December 1991, no, that was not the case. Don't mind the tape. Again, it was a long time ago when I started this. Don't mind the wrinkles. I just literally took it out to move it. So it is not a page finish, because you can see I didn't finish down there. But from the top to right below Santa's boots, I have reached a page finish. And you could see he's not finished. He's holding a wreath in his arm, but the wreath is only half done, because guess what? That's where they cut the page. Aren't these Santas beautiful though? What a difference a ridiculous amount of backstitch makes. So I'm really enjoying this one. It's full of colors. I feel like it's washing out the closer I get. It's probably a little better back here. Got to work on the ring light situation, but I figured I needed to get this filmed, and my son is coming at 2 o'clock to pick up something I made for him. So I told him not to come before 2 o'clock because I had something to do. He doesn't know about this. So that is stitched on 14 count vintage country mocha. Started July of 2019, but has been obviously in my stash since 1991 or two. But I was then in the midst of children, babies. And I gave it 10 total days in 2024, most of which happened in December because I felt like it was neglected when I looked at my little calendar where I keep track. So I went back and said, you know what? We're going to give this a few days. So 10 total days got me pretty far. Got me finished the Santa. Well worth it. Moving on. Alan Malley's Gracious Era. It is a Dimensions kit. Used everything that the Dimensions kit sent. Bought it on the secondary market. It was opened but not used. Started it January 1st of 2021. And I tried for a page finish but did not get there. Felt like I needed to move on. 7 days total in 2024. I love this. This picture just gives me peace. I really like this. But I'm still like over all in here, which you'll see in 1 minute. Didn't take it out of the Q-snap because there was no need to. Although it's a little crooked in the Q-snap right now. But you're just going to have to imagine that the buildings are indeed straight, although they are not straight in my Q-snap. See that last, those buildings down the street are coming into view. I mean, love or hate Dimensions, they are a master at background, foreground. They really know what they're doing. Shading, all of that. They make it look like everything's one or two colors. And like just this building, I can't even tell you how many colors are in that building. A lot. And see the people, they're ghosts right now, but we're getting there. We are getting there. Really tried for a page finish. There was just too much left to do. But I feel like next time I will definitely get a page finish. That would be a big accomplishment for me. Did I say this was? Oh, right. This is the Dimensions Ada. And it kind of is that mousy, yucky color that you see, that blue-gray that they use. And I think it's 16 count. But it's full coverage, so it doesn't matter. Nobody's ever going to see the fabric. Okay. So that was the second one, stitched in December, that is reminiscent of Christmas. That's at least winter time. Okay, next. Ornaments All Around, Glendon Place, another one of my favorite designers. I'm doing Sleepy Hollow. That's what started me down the who needs to be monogamous in stitching rabbit hole. And I saw Deb from Country Stitchers do this one, and woo! I mean, she changes a lot because she's so creative, but hers was gorgeous, and I had to have it. I stitched mine not on the called for fabric. I stitched it on 18 count Picture This Plus Heritage. Oh, it's the second one. Picture This Plus Heritage today. I started it on April the 10th, 2022. It got 9 total days in 2024. And I am on, this is the, hold on, I thought I'd be able to do this. This is what you're going to see is the start of page 2. I went to the bottom. I didn't go left to right. I went top to bottom. So that ornament, the last ornament you see at the very bottom, is fully on page 2 or page 4 as it may be. And that purple ornament, the very last couple rows were page 2 as well. I feel like this is not showing you how bright these colors are. They're really, really bright. And I love this. I love this because of the colors. And it's sparkly. Can you see the sparkle? I feel like you cannot. But it's very sparkly. Like very, very sparkly. So there's beads, there's Krynic. There's a lot going on in this one. And of course the beads go at the end, and then there's the big giant snowflake in the middle, which I had a really hard time finding. And then I finally found it, ordered it. It was on back order. And when it came in, I'm talking probably a year ago, more, I couldn't remember what I ordered it for. And it just sat on my desk in my office forever. And then finally this came up, and I saw the snowflake, and I was like, that's what I ordered that big snowflake for. But I totally forgot, because by the time it got to me, I couldn't remember what I ordered it for because it took me so long to find it in the first place. Okay, and last but not least, and let me preface this by saying, from my last Flosstube, at least 3 of you commenters said something to the effect, can't wait for your next video and can't wait for you to say sweater weather. So, not sure what the sweater weather thing is about. Of all the things you could have wanted me to say in my accent that everybody comments on, and you know, Joey Forget About It and I both say, what accent? But anyway, I asked him, I said, is there like a meme? Is there something that, you know, Philly people, because remember, I am in New Jersey, but I am outside of Philadelphia. I'm not outside of New York. So I don't know if you guys are thinking like New York accent sweater weather. You could have asked me to say a million other things, like water, which I don't say. I say water. Eagles, like our football team. I don't say Eagles. I say Eagles. So, but anyway, you could have asked me to say a million things. I would have never thought sweater weather was one of them. And then ironically, what comes up on Tiny Decisions, but sweater weather. There we go. So there you go. If there is a meme, or if you know why everyone wanted me to say those 2 words, I would like to know, because I feel like I say it just like everyone else does. And I didn't know if it was a geography issue, or if there really is something out there, or if we really do say it very weird and don't know it, right? Because nobody thinks they have the accent. Everybody thinks everyone else has the accent. So this, I got a page finish on. This is the one that kind of bled into January a little. Oh, I don't think I told you on Alan Malley's Gracious Era, 7 days total in 2024, Ornaments All Around, 9 days total in 2024. They're both kind of acceptable. I'm kind of making it the 8-day thing, but 7 is okay. This one is stitched on 18 count vintage country mocha, started 10/31/22. I got a page finish, 2 total days in 2024. This one, I believe, fell victim to my Tiny Decisions malfunction. The 2 days were in February. And I think I started this on New Year's Eve day, so I included it. But then I continued into January, but you won't see it again in January because you're actually looking at the page finish. How cute is that? And I used to have a Dachshund. She was a Dachshund Beagle mix. Her name was Bailey. She was a rescue. She came to the animal orphanage with a truckload of puppies, and they thought she was a puppy. When they scooped her up, I don't know where she was, on the street. She was somewhere in West Virginia. And, but I don't think she was homeless because she had very good house manners. But we happened to be looking for another dog, and they said, well, we have a truckload of puppies coming up. And I said, no puppies. We already had 2 dogs at home, and they said, well, you know what? One got scooped up and brought up in the truck with the puppies, but she's not a puppy. She's actually a year old. Do you want to see her? So my husband was there looking for like a big dog, like a German Shepherd or a Lab or something. And my 3 kids and I, were like, yeah, let's just see. And so they brought her out, and she came around the corner, and 4 of us went yes. And my husband went, oh no, Joey, forget about it. Never gets his way. He just gives in. So Bailey, we had Bailey for, she was 16 and a half when she passed. So she had a nice long life with us, and she was a little more red than this lovely dog. And she was Dachshund Beagle mix. She was not a purebred Dachshund, but she was very good. She was really, really good, and she was really, really cute. Anyway, typically I'm not an animal stitcher. I don't stitch lions, elephants, tigers. I generally don't do that, but this one just happened to have a dog in it, or 2, actually. So I think that's all I have. My plans for 2025, no, I'm not even going to say that. My plans for the beginning of 2025 is to make some progress on what I have and to try and get something significant, if possible, on every project. It doesn't hurt at all that now that I'm doing Flosstube, I think about content. So I try and touch more things than maybe typically I would. But if I'm getting close to a page finish or whatever, something significant, I'm going to stay with it, and I'll take it off of something else, take the time off. But I'm going to test this year, see what my days stitching on each project are. I stitch almost every day, not every day, but I stitch almost every day. So there is no reason to get 2 days on a project. I don't have that many that's an acceptable number. So this year I'm going to chalk it up to tiny decisions, malfunction by operator. But next year, if I find that I have a very low number of days, I will make a very concentrated effort not to start anything. So I did, as always, as we probably all do, put links to patterns that I would like to have that are in my wish list on various sites. And as almost always, no one bought me any cross stitch. No one. My daughter bought me the ring light for my floss tubes, but nobody bought me anything to work on. So that tells me that they think that I have plenty to do and don't need anything else. So that's it. It is, again, January 10th. If you have any questions about anything I went through, let me know. I'm going to work on this lighting for next month so that, one, I don't look like I've lived in Antarctica for the past 10 years, and also so that we get the best lighting for the fabric. So next month, I will see you back, hopefully the first week of February, and I will have more finishes to show you once I put up my normal everyday. We're sort of in that no man's land of not everything Christmas has been put away yet, so therefore none of the everyday stuff has come back out yet. So the house is a disaster, and it looks like it's probably going to be this way for a couple more days. But maybe next month I'll have a lot more finishes to show you. I will make sure that we don't hang anything back up until I get a chance to show these finishes from however long ago they are. And I probably won't have a lot of details. Who knew, right? Who knew you had to keep track of that stuff? I was lucky if I remembered to put my initials and the date on it. So So until then, I will see you in February. Have a great start to 2025 and a good stitchy month in January. Bye-bye.